Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to Mission Podcast. We're here for a very special seasonal episode. Christmas is around the corner, and we are going to be ranking Harry Potter films. Today, with me, Hazza Potter. Not on camera, unfortunately, otherwise, you can tell that, I am Brian Harry Potter. Um, is DK and Carpe, DK more affectionately known as Danny. And yeah, well, guys, Harry Potter is dead. I'm joking. He's honestly. What are your first thoughts when I say Harry Potter to you guys? Because honestly, when I think of Harry Potter, I just think of a film series that is unbelievable, right?
I think nostalgia comes to mind because I think as kids, those are like the first. That's the first big series or franchise I remember watching. Like it was a staple in it of TV on ITV. It used to always come on ITV1 every Saturday. The next Harry Potter, I used to wait for it. Just brings back good memories. I have nothing but good things to say about Harry Potter. It's the first real like introduction, I'd say, to fantasy, the fantasy genre. If I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you said, Carpe. Like you said, it is nostalgia. Like I can't remember the first time I watched it, but it must have been ages ago. And I think it's the first time I watched every movie of the whole basically Harry Potter. I can't remember how long it was ago, but I remember when I first watched it, I really enjoyed it, and I think it was the first like fantasy kind of you know movie I watched, and and all the characters I really liked. The I think the music is so good, and everything about it. I think the casting is really good. Each film I think has a different tone to it, which makes it so good. And again, the visual design is so good. So yeah, man, I really enjoyed all their films.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Just a quick question: did any of you guys read the books?
Yeah, I've read a couple of them. I've read a couple
Not
of them.
me, no.
I haven't had the privilege of reading all the books, but I always read about read like them TikTok slides that talk about how
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
of the films don't actually align with
Mm.
the purpose of the books, and it does sadden me, to be honest, because I think J.K. Rowling is an amazing writer. From what I've read of the little I've read of Harry Potter, I think I've read like 4 or 5 books, but it's just she's able to encapsulate the entire universe inside your head, and it's like, wow, she does such an amazing job, and I kind of wished more of that was sort of, I suppose,
Mhm.
better illustrated in the films.
But to be honest, the films are great as it is, but you do feel like they kind of have a bit of potential to have been greater than they actually were, because obviously they had to cut out a lot of stuff, which due to them being films. But we'll talk about it. They're making a TV series. We'll talk about that towards the end of the episode. Maybe that's a chance for them to flesh the story out a bit more. But yeah, I think I don't know. I can't speak for Americans, but especially for us as British-born like lads growing up, I think everybody watched Harry Potter. I don't know a single person that hasn't
Yeah.
seen Harry Potter.
Yeah, I
It's
think
just so iconic.
I think it's a massive disappointment. Like, if it was not a disappointment, I think either you like it or you don't. But Harry Potter isn't one of those
Yeah,
movie franchises where it's in either like it or you don't. You've got to be really stupid to not like it,
yeah.
especially as a kid. You don't. There's this. It's as you say, Carpe. It's an introduction to fantasy. Who doesn't want to grow up, be a wizard, move away from home at 11, and fight evil beasts and trolls, etc., and like learn how to turn things from like a cupboard into um an animal, or Wingardium Leviosa, etc. Like, who doesn't want to do that? Like, you must be you must be totally out of your mind.
How
Like the
many
whole
times have you?
concept is amazing of it.
I was gonna say, how many times have you guys rewatched every movie?
Oh, I've seen Harry Potter so
It's an every Christmas thing. I think I've done it every Christmas since
Yeah. Yeah.
2012.
It's like it's December time. It's time for some Harry Potter full marathon.
Yeah, sometimes I just sit there. I'm like, oh, what? I'll just watch the first one, and then
yeah.
by 2 3 days later, I'm already on the final film, and I'm like, oh god, what have I done? I
You
could
know,
have
you
watched
know, you know what's funny about
anything.
Harry Potter? It's always all year round they show it on TV like without fail. Harry Potter is just one of them ones when the weather starts to get cold, everyone just loves to sit home and watch it. They're on Netflix as well now, all the films. So yeah, Harry Potter, man. We can't really do it justice just to how integral it is to the fantasy genre. Yeah, Harry Potter is just I think it's the foundation of everyone's journey into like fantasy. I think that's
I think it's a great I think it's a great introduction to kind of adulthood as well.
yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more in terms of how when we because this is a tier ranking. Well, this is a ranking of the Harry Potter films ultimately, and everyone's order is going to be different, and rightly so. But the way that the films and the books are manufactured, it's like the people they grew up on the films and the books. If you were like, let's say, 7 years old reading Philosopher's Stone, by the time that the Deathly Hallows came out, you're like 16 or 17 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if you've grown up with that series. I unfortunately didn't have the privilege of that because when Philosopher's Stone came out, I was a year old in terms of the films. But even then, like you felt as though you'd feel as though for the people that are growing up with the stories and the films, etc., it's as if they were growing up with the characters, and I think that's a fantastic touch that the series also has, and why Harry Potter holds such a like so many people hold Harry Potter in such high regard. They have a really big affinity for it, and it's because you grow up with that story. um Nowadays, as we say, it's on Netflix, so if you wanted to show your kids it, you can just go straight to the next film, straight to the next film. You didn't have to wait for so long for the Goblet of Fire or the Order of the Phoenix to come out, and there's the beauty in that, I think, with Harry Potter, that unfortunately is going to be missed out naturally. But yeah, I think it's just an unbelievable tale of storytelling that I don't think will be greatly appreciated by the younger generations to come.
Nah,
Yeah.
I think it will be loved, but even by the younger lot. I think Harry Potter is just that good. Like it's just that good that people will love it regardless. It's probably one of the rare few franchises that's like universally loved. People don't really have many negative unless you're like a hardcore book lover, book reader that cares about the stuff that gets erased and stuff. Then maybe I can see a small cult of them being unhappy with the films, but I think for the majority of us, we love Harry Potter. But yeah, we should get into ranking the films then. Now we're gonna go film by film in release order, so we're gonna rank them at the end. So we're gonna just discuss each film, give our thoughts. So the first one is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. They originally had a different title, I think, but they changed the name. I can't remember what the original title. I think it was the Sorcerer's Stone, but hey, regardless. Yeah, what did you guys make of the first film?
I mean, Philosopher's Stone is about the greatest introduction into the wizardry world as you can possibly imagine. Um, Starts off with Hagrid on a flying motorbike, drifting into Privet Drive, and you think, yeah, I'm in for something pretty sick here. Not gonna lie, I'm very much looking forward to it. Like, yeah, this is gonna be sick. Um, the Dursleys treating Harry Potter like absolute shit makes you want to punch them, and they were great, like initial villains.
Yeah.
Last year I had 36 presents, still 37 or something like that. That, like, come on, man, you ungrateful little crap. Like, I can imagine, like so many children who grew up with like ungrateful siblings just sat there looking at them like, yeah, you're a prick. You are like, this is you. You're Dudley Dursley, and straight away you're creating villains. But even so, like, even from that moment, you just knew that J.K. Rowling gets it when it comes to interacting between children, etc. And particularly Harry Potter. But the introduction to the magic aspect, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
it is definitely one of the best introductory films ever made, to be honest. And as you said, Harry, Hazza, I was going to call you Harry there, but yeah, Harry Potter, they immediately make you like him. They immediately make you care for him and feel bad for him, which I think was perfect. Like him being not abused or tortured, but practically being treated like absolute dirt by his uncle and aunt, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uncle
Uh,
Dudley Dursley and Aunt Petunia.
Can I just say, shout out to the actor who played Dudley? Yeah, he was amazing. He was so good. Like I hated him, and then he ended up like in the last film, he has like a little redemption moment. But yeah, Philosopher's Stone is so good. Like the whole way that the train, they introduced the train station, Harry arriving at Hogwarts, the music when the doors open, meeting all these characters for the first time, and it's just such a great film. And I remember the villain is that professor. Right? He was so scary. I remember watching that as
Oh
a kid.
yeah.
I was shit scared of that guy. But yeah, what do you think, Danny?
Yeah, like you said, Carpe. I think it's the perfect first movie you'd want from a Harry Potter franchise, in my opinion. I think it created the magical world instantly. Like I think the biggest achievement of this film is actually establishing, the magical world, and as I think the most magical I think it is the most magical film in the entire series because again it discovers the wizard, it discovers getting the wand, entering Hogwarts, learning all the spells, the thrill of all the first year adventure, and again it established all the cast, and it set up all the core themes like friendship, love, good v evil, family, and the idea of choosing what's right and wrong morally. So I think everything a first film had to do with Harry Potter, I think it did. So yeah, again, a really good first film.
Yeah, and bro, Hagrid, what a G. Love that guy. But
R.I.P.
yeah,
man.
as you said, Danny, yeah, R.I.P. Robbie Coltrane, the actor. It was the perfect introduction to the world. I mean, a lot of people say the first two films aren't that strong, but I disagree. I feel like for the job they had, they fulfilled that purpose. I remember in the first one, the climax was so good. Like when the guy's like taking, or he's wearing like a turban, in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that he's like unwrapping the turban, yeah, and the mirror's there, and like I was so scared seeing that as a kid. And then you see Voldemort on the back of his head. I think I was so scared. I thought it was a great scene. But yeah, what do you think, Hazza?
Unfortunately, the internet underneath the cupboard of the stairs decided to kick me out. So, what do you mean? What do I think in terms of?
Like, where would you rank it if you were gonna?
I would give it a top three ranking.
Seriously? Ooh.
I
It's my
think
fifth, it's my fifth.
you're
I
fifth.
think
Oh,
top
fair
three's a
enough.
bit. I think there's better films, but
No. You can say there's better films, but I don't think there's any other film that kind of kick. You got to have a good starting film to kick off the
Yeah.
franchise, and to have the Philosopher's Stone to get children or people engaged into the Harry Potter universe. I feel as though the Philosopher's Stone does that perfectly. It balances that kind of fun and fear with the philosophical kind of aspects around it as well. Um, Introduces all the characters perfectly too. Um, and yeah, I think yeah, it could be a top five if you're looking at it from a completely objective perspective of films standalone. But if you look at it from a franchise perspective, and I think that's the most important thing, the way that it sets up everything else, I think it's its third for me in my list. But if you
Same.
want to
I
put it
hear
fourth,
I
I
hear it.
know what you mean.
I hear it. But we'll rank them towards the end anyway. But for now, I'd say put it fourth. Then if Danny has it fifth, I'd say top five. It's top five as well.
We'll play fourth then. Yeah, that's fine.
Ah, cool. Okay, then now the next film. Listen, this film, yeah, it gets not hate, but like a lot of people say it wasn't good, which I can't understand. I thought Chamber of Secrets is an amazing film. I loved it. It's one of my favorites. What do you guys think of Chamber of Secrets?
I think it's a good little carbon copy of the first film, but kind of just like pushes it a little bit darker, particularly with the shifts with Ginny Weasley being taken into the Chamber of Secrets, blood being used a little bit more, um, and like genuinely the whole mystery about the chamber,
Yeah,
who's
it's brilliant.
who's pulling the strings, etc. Um, it's genuinely really creepy. Like that's
It's scary, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it kind of like it transcends into the horror aspect. Like they speak about like how Hogwarts has never closed down and Dumbledore's there. As long as Dumbledore is there, Hogwarts is safe, and Dumbledore wants to close down Hogwarts, and it adds into that little sort of catastrophe. And it's like and it also brings in, and I think it does a really good job of bringing in um races. It brings in that kind of like racism aspect as well.
Yeah, the Mudblood storyline,
The
yeah.
like yeah, I don't know. I think it's more of a xenophobe. I think xenophobia is probably the right word to use. Like where you're from and who your blood is. If you're not that, then you're not welcome. and that stirs up thoughts in kids' minds, or my mind certainly, and it's like, well, it's not wrong, it's not right. I was gonna say it's not wrong for a second to treat people differently because of their background. It's completely wrong. It's completely farcical, and I think the way that the film delivers that in its way of talking about wizarding origin does not get enough credit. And also, Dobby appears, so what else can you say?
And I think it was the first film Lucius appeared. Lucius
Yeah,
is a great so just a proper snobby rich prick in it. But what I love about Chamber of Secrets, as you mentioned, has like listen, the first one's scary, is very scary as well, but it's a bit more light, a bit more like childlike. But this one takes in a slightly darker tone. The whole mystery surrounding the Chamber of Secrets, it was kind of like a detective film in a way. Like they were trying to solve the mystery of it. And then the final reveal is Tom Riddle, who is Voldemort. It was amazing. I remember the music, the creepy music playing as, when Tom Riddle rearranges his name to like Voldemort. It was so good. It was so good. And I remember that giant snake that they were fighting at the end as well.
the basilisk. Yeah,
Yeah, that was great. I can't remember. The chessboard sequence when Ron's playing chess with the.
that's the first one.
Yeah.
That's the first one. Yeah, I love that one. That's the first one. Anyway. But yeah, Chamber of Secrets. I feel it's a bit underrated by fans, Harry Potter fans. They just see it as a kind of like a filler film, but I think it's much more than that. I think it's a really, really solid second entry. And you could argue the second film is the most important in a franchise, because if the second film was bad, who's to say people would have been interested in the third and the fourth and the fifth? I think the second maintained the level of the first one, and it might not have like expanded it like in a grand way, but it done its job. It set up for the third one. It kept you interested. But yeah, what do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I agree with what Hazza said. I feel like it did a great job building the first world, but into a more darker and much more plot heavy sequel, in my opinion. And again, it is one of my favorite films. I probably wouldn't even have it top five because I think at times it felt too long. I think it is the longest film if I remember correctly. And again, there are many parts about this that I like. Like I thought there was strong mystery storytelling in this. Tom Riddle I thought did a really good job. There are a lot of iconic scenes. Again, I really like the darker aspect because in this first film you think it's all this fantasy world which they haven't really dug deep into all the dark tones which they did in this film. But yeah, I mean I thought it was a okay film for the second one after the first one, but again, I thought it was too long. The pacing felt off at times. There wasn't much growth for Harry, especially. I felt like, and I know later on they do really, develop his character, but in this film, I think he did a really not a bad job, but a really weak job at developing his arc. There's also some silly comedy in here which I didn't really like, and again, the CGI wasn't really, great. So I mean, yeah, it was an okay film for the second one, but I mean, not my favorite.
Fair enough. I probably like it the most out of the three of us. I'm guessing we put it just outside the top five then.
Should be fifth.
Yeah, fifth for now then. But yeah, now let's move on to the next one. Now this one is arguably the most popular one. Like, fans love this film, and they say it's the best one. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. What are your thoughts on this film, lads?
I mean, you're the one that speaking about how it's a fan favorite. Yeah, I think you should be. I think you should explain it for us, Carpe.
I was gonna say it's a fan favorite, but me, I'm not the biggest fan of this film. Funnily enough, that's why I was hoping you two could explain why it's such a fan favorite. I don't know. Prisoner of Azkaban.
The thing is, I'm not. This isn't one. This isn't a film where I think, I'm gonna sit there and kind of like, I didn't really enjoy it as much as the first two, and I think the whole like time traveling thing really irked me a bit. I don't know. It really irked me a bit. And I think it was kind of like the whole aspect of Hermione having the time traveling thing. I didn't like that too much. But it introduced us to Sirius and
Yeah, great
like
character.
the great character. We had Lupin as well.
Yeah,
We had the werewolf, all that werewolf stuff as well. And I think it was pretty cool actually that they gave Hermione a little bit more of a push with her character as well. I think we saw a lot of in the second film. She was the one that got she was frozen, or I can't remember the technical term for it, but she never had too much of a part to play in the second film. And then in this third one, they wrote Ron off with a with a bitten leg. So they gave Hermione in WWE terms a bit more of a push on the main event, and she didn't fail to disappoint. To be fair, I quite like Hermione's character in this film. I think she certainly had more of a stronger showing. Um, but yeah, I quite like how Prisoner of Azkaban definitely delves into a more of a hidden. There's a lot of hidden messages I feel with the Prisoner of Azkaban. You've got the Ministry of Magic being incompetent, the government relying on Dementors, etc. And I think it starts. You can slowly see the political messages sort of slowly starting to creep in, and everyone's like, "Oh no, that's wrong. That's wrong. Like, why isn't Sirius Black being given a trial? Oh, that's wrong." Um, you start to slowly. This is where like the kids are starting to grow up.
Yeah.
Kids like you and me are starting to grow up, learn about injustices within the world, and the Prison of Azkaban does that really well. But I don't think it was as great a film. Not many memorable moments, but it gives us
Um,
Lupin and Sirius Black.
yeah, Gary Oldman, what an actor, by the way, the guy who plays Sirius. He's such a fun character. But yeah, as you said, Danny, not Danny, Harry Hazza. Fucking
Harry
hell.
has a just call it
Harry Hazza.
Harry has a
I'm just gonna call you Harry for this episode. I'm just calling you Harry for this episode. But yeah, I've always felt that this is arguably the most overrated film in the franchise. And when I say overrated, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying for the hype it gets and the love it gets, I just didn't think it was all that. I'd rather go back and watch Chamber of Secrets. I don't know if that's a crazy take, but yeah, for me, it's like people complain about Chamber of Secrets being filler. I felt like this one had a lot of filler in it. Um, I think they got a new director for this. I think it was Alfonso Cuarón, who's like a really good director, and people
Yeah,
make
they
such a
did,
big
yeah.
deal. Like you can tell the tone of this film and the way it's filmed is completely different to the first two. Like the cinematography, some of the shots you see are beautiful in this film, but I'm with you, Hazza. I don't think it's all that. What do you think, Danny?
I actually agree with both of you. I think
Oh my
I,
god.
I get I get why fans think it's the most popular. Like it's quite telling why fans think it's the best movie, but in my opinion, it's not a top three movie. Maybe no. I mean, I have it higher than Chamber of Secrets, Carpe. I got it higher than that, but again, I'd probably have it fourth or probably maybe even third. But I would have it in high. Like it's not my top two, definitely. But I mean, there are some really good parts in this film. Like as I said, this was the first time in the series where Harry, Ron, and Hermione they stopped being teenagers, and they stopped becoming basically people with real emotions. They stopped living in this fantasy world, and they dealt with trauma, fear, memory, loss of people. It reflects teenage loneliness and anger, and again it treats its audience as older and smarter, whereas in other movies it might have been more catered towards like children. But I mean, still, I mean, as an adult you can watch some movie, no problem. But this movie, I feel like it treats its audience as much older and much smarter, which again I think is the perfect bridge between early childhood and the darker and later films. So I think the director did a really good job, bridging that. Again, that like Hoppy touched on, the cinematography in this film is amazing. I really love that. The music I thought was really good as well. John Williams, I think, went in a totally new direction, and I think this soundtrack was really good. But yeah, I mean, again, a really good film that I enjoyed, and there are some, weakness in this film. Wasn't this the first film they cut a lot from the book, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, book readers actually rage at this film. To be
Yeah. So again, that's one thing, which you could give it a critique for. Another thing is like some characters don't get enough screen time, in my opinion. Like I know the film sidelines guys like Ron, Haygrade, Snape, but these guys don't get enough screen time as some of the other characters. And the layout of Hogwarts all of a sudden changed, so that's what was another reason why fans dislike this film. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like about this film, which I mean, I get why it's popular, but also it's not the perfect film. It's not, in my opinion, the best film of the whole series.
One thing I love there, you know, the newspapers in Harry Potter, they have the moving images. I used to find that so cool as a
I
kid.
wanted one of those, man. Oh my god, moving images. And you know what it is? We still don't have that. in like online articles because every single time you click a video, there goes to an ad. So
But Prison of Azkaban, people are gonna probably cuss us for putting it so low, but I agree. I have it outside the top 5. I think Chamber of Secrets is better, but I don't know what you guys think.
Hazza,
It's up to
because
you.
I think it's worse.
Well, I don't know. I don't particularly find both of them as good as each other. But I'll say but I'm going to say the Chamber of Secrets just because of I just think it felt like it had more going on.
Fair.
It just felt like with the Prisoner of Azkaban, you're watching the same film but from a different perspective with like the time turner stuff. But shout out Hermione; she had a really good performance in this. She has a great performance. Emma Watson has 8 out of 8 brilliant performances, as does Rupert Grint and Daniel Radcliffe. But this was Hermione's best movie by a country mile.
It's funny though, because
Out of the beginning 3.
out of the 3, Daniel Radcliffe's the worst actor. Like outside of Harry Potter, yeah, this guy stinks, bro. Have you seen him? He's terrible, but hey, it is what it is. One hit wonder, not a bad thing. But
or an 8-hit wonder.
8-hit wonder, yeah. What's the next film? Okay, I love this.
Oh, this is my
I love
favorite.
this film.
This is my favorite.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Oh.
What a film!
You know what it is with this film? This is probably the only film in the franchise that you can probably watch as a standalone film and not have to watch any other film.
That's
Genuinely,
true.
Yeah.
That is true.
like I think every other film you watch, maybe Order of the Phoenix sits up there as well, but the Goblet of Fire is probably the greatest film in this franchise because it bridges the sort of like childish aspect. So you've got the Yule Ball, which is sick to me, not gonna lie, because it encapsulates that teenage drama, of like, oh, the boys don't want to go out with the girls, but some of the boys actually don't mind it, and like you're growing into that, like Harry Potter saying, oh, I can I can kind of like beat a dragon and get an egg, but I can't even ask a girl out. Like, come on, like, that's genuine teenage, like that's teenage shit right there, man. And then you've even got the Harry Potter universe expanding as well, like the Quidditch World Cup. We never even got to see a single minute of that, by the way. I was a bit pissed. Like we saw the quaffle go up, and then we saw them dancing in the tent, and I'm just like, bro, why can we not have just watched a bit of the Quidditch World Cup? Then you had the Durmstrangs, the Beauxbatons, and then you've even got like the introduction of the Death Eaters really coming into it as well. And it's just like everything about this film is perfect. It's perfection for me. It's perfection.
I think for me, this is the film where shit just got real. Like you're like, oh fuck, this is serious now. Because obviously the other ones were getting. I think gradually the films get darker and darker. But I feel like Goblet of Fire was like, shit, this ain't just a kids' film anymore. Like this is something more. Shit just got real. This is dangerous. The stakes never felt higher. We'll talk about the ending. I think the ending, the final.
Your name in the Goblet of Fire.
Like the final 30 minutes are incredible. But yeah, it was such a good. So I remember, was it Emma Watson? Hermione was like, I don't know what way they were from. She was liking the guy from the other school, and Ron was getting jealous. That was kind of funny.
Victor Crumb. She liked Victor Crumb.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the whole tournament thing that they did, and then like they were so gassed that Harry was in, and I remember the scene when they go into that thing, and then Harry and Cedric are there, and then fucking hell,
the graveyard.
Yeah, and then Wormtail comes out with like a fucking baby Voldemort, and then he like cuts his blood, and then Voldemort comes back to life, and it's such a great scene. Ralph.
And then when they killed Cedric as well, it's like kill the spare. and when Cedric died in front of my eyes, I was like, this isn't meant to happen in this film. Like, why is
it felt dark, innit?
Yeah, and then when when Dumbledore gave the speech at the end, it was like about Cedric, and I was like, bro, whoa, what? Like genuinely, there's no way he could have been brought back to life, sort of thing, and impossible.
Just going back to the graveyard, the thing I like, I know it's a meme now. You know when Voldemort's like touching his face and stuff, like people meme it now, but and he's like feeling his body, and he's so gassed that he's like, oh, I'm back, and then
I can touch you. Yeah, it was.
The way and then I love about Voldemort when the way he rounds up like his minions, like Lucius Malfoy comes, and and they're all there like, oh, the Dark Lord has like basically kissing his ass, but they're shitting it in it because Voldemort was like, none of you guys made any effort to bring me back. Wormtail was like, I know Wormtail's useless, but he's the only one that managed to like actually bring me back. It was just such a great scene, and then he sees Harry Potter, and then he's like, oh, Harry, the greatest lie that's ever been told. Do you know what I did that night? Oh, it's just so good. The perfect introduction for Voldemort, because over the course of the 4 movies, like Voldemort's built up like literally he who must not be named. Like he's like this ominous presence, and then you finally see him come into the flesh by the end of the 4th film, and it delivered. The hype delivered. He was creepy. He was scary. It was brilliant. But yeah.
It's a child's nightmare, really, isn't it? Like a man who's not really, he's got no hair, got no nose, he's just like he is scary, bro. He's a monster, and Voldemort as a villain in kind of all of fiction, he's pretty shit. Not gonna lie, like we
Yeah.
could talk, we'll talk a little bit more. Like the guy only like the guy waits until the end of the school year to attack Harry or anything like stupid shit like that. Um, he can't, he's scared of entering Hogwarts on his wands, and like he could have been the one to kill Dumbledore in Half-Blood Prince. Like he's a pretty shit villain. Don't get it twisted.
But it's
But
the
in terms,
performance.
but in terms of like Ralph Fiennes' performance, um, and I think the build up towards Voldemort and the villainy
Yeah,
that he
it's just
shows, just that kind of like, I don't like using this word often, but the aura, like bro,
yeah.
scary man, like genuine Undertaker vibes.
Scary to look at. But
Genuinely,
hey, shout out Tom Riddle though. Tom Riddle was a handsome chap, back in his day. But yeah, Lord Voldemort, the aura he had. I mean, I think that's the biggest compliment I can give to the franchise. The way they built up his villainy and like his presence. Like even not, they didn't even show him in the. You know how crazy that is in the first 3 films. They didn't even show him once. Literally, it was just like
he was on the
it's
back
like
of the he was on the
yeah,
back of the head in the first one. In the second one, it was Tom Riddle. In the third
yeah.
one, it was completely he wasn't even brought up, so you could kind of skip over it. And then all of a sudden, in the fourth one, it's like, well, oh, you thought you forgot about him. Well, here he is in the sky. Here's the Death Eater mark. Here's this. Oh, shout out Mad Eye Moody, by the way.
Oh
What a
yeah,
team.
that was great. David Tennant was in that film. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he didn't get too much screen time because I thought the Mad Eye Moody actor was like, he was pretty special, to be fair.
yeah. Brendan Gleeson's a great actor. Everything I've seen him in, he's so good. But yeah,
Facts.
Goblet of Fire for me is it's easily top 3.
Top 2 for me.
I think it's the best.
Oh, we didn't even ask for Danny's thoughts on Goblet of Fire.
Oh, you covered all of it.
But yeah, Goblet of Fire
When
easy.
I love a film as much as Goblet of Fire, I'm sorry, Danny, you're not getting a word in.
So Cedric is Hayes' favorite character. That's just hilarious.
Cedric.
Shout out. I don't know why. He's literally got like 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes of screen time. But yeah, let's move on then to the.
Oh wait,
next...
you want to talk about screen time in it before we move on to the fifth one? How have we not mentioned Malfoy yet, man? Bruv, the girls love him. Why do all the girls love him?
Nah,
It's because he's so broody, man.
Shout out Tom Felton, bro. He played that role perfectly. Draco was so good, but Draco has a big part to play anyway in the 6th film. But we'll get on to that. Order of the Phoenix first. A lot of fans, this is not rated as highly as other ones, but I think it's kind of underrated. I really like this film. Like Harry Potter, like starting like a secret society, basically training students against dark arts. And I think was it the headmistress was what's her name again? Dolores Umbridge. I think she was a bitch. She was a bitch. You hated her, which like in a film that has Voldemort in it is a credit. Is a credit to the actress. She was amazing in her role. She just reminded you of one of them that strict teachers that you just hated in it. I think that's why fans could relate to it so much because everyone has a teacher like that in school, innit? Dolores Umbridge. But yeah, Order of the Phoenix for me is underrated, especially the final fight between Voldemort and Dumbledore was so good.
I think this movie has the best last third of the movie in any movies, in my opinion. Like Carpe said, the last 30 minutes was so good between Voldemort possessing Harry and all that. And in my opinion, it also has Harry's best arc. Like this is when you see Harry most angriest. He was traumatized, isolated, misunderstood. So again, for his arc and the last 30 minutes, I think it gets much more hate than it should. It's definitely really underrated. The pacing I thought was really good. I think in the books it's probably the longest, but I think it was the shortest in the movies.
Yeah, in the
I
movies.
really like the visual style of it as well. And again, the themes I thought were really mature, and again they made sense, like the corruption of the government, the media, manipulation, they mentioned politics, all the trauma and everything. So again, I think for what it was, especially the last 30 minutes and Harry's arc, I think is really underrated too.
I think Order of the Phoenix was the first time you actually saw like a 1 versus 1 magical battle, which I thought so is the way they built it
Yeah.
up. And it was such really cool to see fucking Dumbledore and Voldemort going at it. It was a phenomenal viewing. I'm jealous of people who got to watch that in cinema. That would have been sick. But yeah, has there any thoughts on Order of the Phoenix?
Yeah, I think what Umbridge is crazy good at, in terms of the way that she acts, is she's the antithesis of everything she stands for. Pink, smiley, cat loving, and everything that she does is completely the opposite. Like if she was dressed up in black, moody all the time, and loved wolves or something, we wouldn't hate her as much because we already know that. But how dare a woman who wears pink, smiles, and loves cats act the way that she does? And that special quill that she had as well, where I must not tell lies, and then she gets done later on by saying, "I must not tell lies."
Yeah,
It's
it's so good.
unbelievable,
The actress done a
unbelievable.
phenomenal job. She was
Yeah,
amazing.
she was terrific. And to be hated more than Dumbledore, not Dumbledore, to be hated for Dolores Umbridge to be hated more than Voldemort in a film where Voldemort has killed Cedric Diggory, has killed Harry Potter's parents, to be hated as much or if not more in a movie franchise than Voldemort is an absolute is a unbelievable testament to the actress itself and the writing as well.
Yeah. I think we all know someone like a Dolores. Like on the outside, they seem like the nicest person on the planet, but on the inside, they're a fucking devil. Do you know? Do you know what I mean? That's why I think the character is so good. But Order of the Phoenix, for me, I personally have it in my top 5. Don't know about you guys.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, sits in my top 5 as well.
Where do we put Goblet of Fire? I never ranked it.
3 for now, 3 or
Three.
2 for now.
And are we putting Phoenix
I'd
further?
put Order of the Phoenix maybe before Philosopher's, or maybe I think it's better than Philosopher's Stone, but up to you guys.
I think that's okay.
It's up
So
to you
far.
boys. Honestly, I've got my own film rankings completely different, I guess. So
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we're doing like a collective one. So
yeah, of course.
the
That's why I
next
don't
one, I have
care.
to say
That's why I do not care.
this one, the sixth one has an argument to be the best film in the franchise as well. I think. What a film this is! Harry Potter and the Half Blood Prince. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. What did you guys think of this film?
See, this is actually a film that. So I know Danny was about to pipe in because I just had this feeling where he takes a breath, but this film is actually critiqued for being the film that strays so far away from the books, yet the fans love it so much. In terms of like movie watching fans, it goes far away from what the books say, but it's universally loved, and it's really interesting that actually, um, because if you look at it away from isolation from the books, it's a pretty freaking good film,
Yeah.
but if you look at it from like the book perspective, it's so dog shit. It's unreal. Um, but like
But
it's
we're
the
judging
it's
this as movies, though. We're judging them based off as movies.
yeah,
Because
yeah, of
I'm a
course. No, no, no,
I,
no, no, of course, I'm all for that as well. But I thought I'd add that little perspective in as well because
yeah,
I think the books have obviously a big impact. But the Half Blood Prince is kind of like the last film that really goes into the school aspect. I felt like in the fifth one, you didn't really get to see too much of the school because you had Snape doing legilimens with Harry a lot. They were leaving school quite a bit. But the Half-Blood Prince, you actually got to see them being in school a bit more. You know, Ron was on the Quidditch team. You had Lavender Brown with the love potion. Hermione being, jealous and showing, basically declaring her love for Ron in a small way. But then you've got like the dark undertones as well. You know, you find out about Horcruxes through Slughorn's memories. You have a liquid luck, and the kind of like the reveal to the Half-Blood Prince as well. Like, who the hell is this brother, man? And everyone, and you're thinking, "Oh, who could it be? Who could it be?" And then the big reveal at the end when Snape says, "Oh, you dare use my spells against me?
Oh, so
I
good.
am the Half-Blood Prince."
Oh,
After
so
he
good.
killed Dumbledore as well, I hated Snape so much after that.
Oh my god. That reveal was fucking amazing. But another thing about this film, I don't know if you guys noticed, the color grading of this film was so dark, like
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
completely different to the other films. I think I loved about this. One of my favorite storylines from this whole film was Draco Malfoy. Now, in the other films, we see him as this like cocky little shit who's just like basically just a bully, talking down on others because he comes from such a like rich or famous family. And then in this film, you see such a vulnerable side to him. Like he's going through hell. Like this guy, he's in such internal conflict. You actually feel bad for him and really sorry for him. And he's basically been forced to kill Dumbledore, otherwise him and his family are going to get killed, basically. And the whole build up to it is just phenomenal, isn't it? When Draco gets what's her name again? Bellatrix. Is it Bellatrix?
yeah,
And
Bellatrix.
the rest of them into Hogwarts, sneaks them into Hogwarts, and they go to the clock tower, and Dumbledore's there, and then Dumbledore knows how conflicted Draco is, and it's just such a beautiful scene. And he's basically telling Draco to do it, right? And and you're like, wow, how good of a guy is Dumbledore? Like, even on his death, he's not, turning against Draco or scolding him like his parents did. Dumbledore probably showed more love to Draco Malfoy than he ever received ever in his life from his parents in that one moment, which is bizarre considering he's about to murder him. And then all you see is Snape step in, and that, wow. And then Harry's watching from afar because we're seeing it from Harry's point of view. And then it's like, what the fuck? They just killed Dumbledore. I remember the slow-mo of Dumbledore falling back. It was just so heartbreaking and it was so dark. It's such a good film. Another thing I like about this film is they delved a bit more into Tom Riddle's backstory and Voldemort, like from the show Dumbledore visiting him as a kid. And you just realize this guy was fucking just born evil, bro. You know what I mean? It was just so good. What a film. Yeah, I'll let you guys talk about it.
I think it's visually the best film. I don't know if you guys agree with me. I think the visual of this film was really good. I also thought it had the darkest emotional tone. I think before Deathly Hollows, I think it probably had the darkest tone. Like Carpe
Yeah.
mentioned Draco, I think Tom Felton, the actor, bro, he probably put in his best performance as Draco. They let him be vulnerable, conflicted. He felt trapped, and again, like he wasn't a bully anymore. He was this kid who was getting pressured and calling this ball. So I thought his acting was a real good thing about this movie. And again, the Half Blood Prince mystery, like you guys said about Snape, was brilliant. I loved it. Probably the best thing about the whole film. So yeah, I think it really balanced the darkness with some of the more funny moments. The cave scene I thought was also incredible. So yeah, I mean, I think the ending was heartbreaking, but again, it was the perfect ending to the movie.
That scene was so beautiful as well when they all put their like wands up in the sky. Wow, what a send off! I mean,
Yeah.
Dumbledore, one of the goats, man. He's just that guy, in it. His death was like really, really upsetting and sad, but it set the tone perfectly. It set up the final films perfectly, in my opinion. Half Blood Prince for me is easily top three. Don't know if you guys agree.
It's my third. Yeah, it's actually third for me.
Yeah,
Hazza, are you still here?
it sits second on mine. It sits second on mine. So if you want to whack it in the
Go
top
for a
15
second.
places, by all means.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The next film, then, they actually split this film into two. Um, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Now, for me, this is easily the worst one in the franchise. I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys agree.
it's the
Yeah.
one, it's the one I least liked.
Yeah, this one, like, I don't know what went wrong. It's not a terrible movie, and maybe I'm being harsh, but like after the hype that Half Blood Prince, the note that I left it on, you're like, oh shit, this is the final two films. It kind of like not ruined the hype, but like it was kind of like meh. It was just flat. The momentum they had, it just fell a bit. Like basically nothing happens, nothing significant really, apart from Dobby dying, happens in this film. It just felt like filler, which was weird because it's the first part of the final film. I just felt like they were just like, yeah, we're gonna overload everything into the part two. Yeah, what did you guys think of Deathly Hallows Part One?
Yeah, I think it's easily the worst Harry Potter film. The pacing of this film was awful. I feel like that's probably my number one complaint of the film. Like, I think he spent a long time just, wandering in the forest, them camping scenes, arguing between the three of them, not really any good action films. The plot felt, really stretched out. Like, I get why they split it into two films because, but it also meant at the same time they had to stall a lot, they had to lots of filler scenes, and they basically left most of the major action for part two. The trios conflict took up too much time. It took up too much time. I think it dominated the movie, and again, it became really heavily emotional without a good payoff, in my opinion. Again, I mean, there was no Hogwarts, which basically removed, no castles, no teachers, no magical set pieces. So yeah, I mean, I thought it wasn't really a fun movie at all. The structure of this movie was awful. It felt like lots of different disconnected scenes, no strong beginning, middle, or even end. And again, also the middle of the story with no resolution was awful. And again, not really any big moments. Like you could argue every other film has like a big moment, but this one does not have any big moments that have any real impact, in my opinion. And again, the key scenes that were meant to feel like the big moments were all rushed. So yeah, I think we all agree is the worst movie of the eight.
Yeah, 100%. It's eight for me.
Yeah, I will say there's a few. There are a few things that I quite like about this film. Despite this being the worst, I think the whole wedding thing, the wedding was pretty cool. In the sense of like it, so much dark shit is happening. We need something to make us feel a little bit better. And it's kind of like the wizarding world acknowledging that and them acknowledging it to us. Um, and I thought that was pretty okay. I loved the storytelling of the Deathly Hallows itself. When Hermione was reading that story at Luna Lovegood's father's house, Xenophilius Lovegood, I think is the dad's name is. They were they're at his gaff and they were reading the Deathly Hallows. I thought that was a nice touch to the entire story. And going into Malfoy Manor as well, when you hear Hermione getting tortured, it's like I think that was the most emotional scenes in the franchise because it was just like we know Hermione to be this really lovely sweet girl, um, and she's getting tortured by probably the worst character in one of the worst characters going in Bellatrix Lestrange. Like we all hate her because she killed Sirius Black, and Umbridge comes back into it as well, and the Finding Horcruxes, etc. So it's not
Was it?
like
Was this? Was it? Oh, I can't remember if it was part one or part two. Was it? This is the one when Voldemort sat at the table with like all his minions and
yeah,
like they like
I
shit
thought you know what it is genuinely. I think that was easily
the
the
best
best
scene.
opening scene. That's the
Yeah,
best opening scene out of all the films that have had
bro,
happened.
they were all shitting brick. Like Lucius Malfoy and his wife just like, bro, they and the snake. I think the snake was great. Voldemort used to use the snake to
Nagini,
just
yeah,
kill everyone.
Nagini,
Yeah,
yeah. I think yeah, you know what it is. I think that I think that for me, that opening scene, it set the tone for the entire film. But I don't
yeah,
think he did. I think as an opening scene, if you look at every single film, it doesn't match. I don't think any opening scene in the franchise comes close to that one. But it's a shame that they never really went on in terms of impact.
yeah. But
Hedwig died as well,
oh yeah,
which was real sad. And Mad Eye died as well. He dies off screen. But no, I think this film kind of like really falls off a cliff. But I think it's because the expectation we have, and it's a
yeah,
part one as well. I think if it was like a separate film,
yeah. I get what you mean.
But it's hard to
Mm.
make it a separate film, I guess.
Yeah.
But to be honest, as much as we're making it sound like the worst film ever, it's not. It's still a good film. Like for franchise standards, you know, it's not terrible. It's just compared to the other ones, it's the weakest one by far. But
Yeah, I agree.
we say that they made up for me, in my opinion. The next film, they made up for it. Part 2 was phenomenal. It's my favorite one. I'm not gonna lie. It's my favorite one, hands down. The Deathly Hallows Part 2. What do you guys think of this film?
If it's your favorite, you might as well wax lyrical, my friend.
This was everything. It was just everything I wanted in a Harry Potter film. Because I feel like throughout all the films they held, apart from Order of the Phoenix, when we saw that fight between Voldemort and Dumbledore, this just gave us everything. They're like, you've been waiting. It was just all out war. I loved the whole storyline of Hogwarts regaining control from Snape and basically just standing their ground, defending themselves against the dark forces of Voldemort. Like the whole scene when Voldemort's like on the cliff there, just outside Hogwarts, and they attack. It's just so good. Like it's just, from minute 1 to the last minute of the film, it's just action packed. It's everything you want. It was for me, it's the perfect way to end the franchise. It just gave us everything, wrapped up every character's arc brilliantly. The Snape reveal, wow. Still gets me emotional to this day, man. To this day. The final fight was great. And you know, one of my favorite bits of this film was it was actually Neville's speech. You know, when they think Harry's dead and then Voldemort saying, "Oh, surrender to us," and then Neville walks up and then they're all laughing and like, Voldemort's like, "Oh, I'll find
That guy's redemption.
I'll find a place for you in my ranks." And Neville cuts that epic speech like Harry lives in all of us, and it's just so good. It's so fucking good. But yeah, I love this film. I think it has to be the best film in the franchise. They just gave you everything. They gave you the full load, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it does indeed, in Carpe's word, give you the full load. It's just everything. It brings you back into Hogwarts as well. Like,
Yeah,
it's the chaos. It's emotional. It's everything kind of like a final war should be in terms of fantasy. Then you had, I think, one of the Weasley twins dying, and you kind of like, there's a moment to kind of sit there and soak in what's happened when Voldemort's like, "I'll let you mourn your dead," and it's almost as if the film starts to slow down after having a really good pacing. It allows you to slow down, and then when Harry goes into the forest to sacrifice himself, I thought that was nuts. Like, you know, the chosen one really wanting to die is crazy. And I think what this film does fantastically is it paces itself so well. It doesn't feel like a really drawn out movie, such as, you know, the part 1 or Chamber of Secrets, where it feels like it's really dragged out. The pacing of this film is perfect. You know, you're going from the Gringotts Bank into I think it's the village, the Hogsmeade. You go into Hogsmeade, then you're going into Hogwarts, and then Harry's in his school uniform, and the teachers are there to protect him. And then you get that Snape reveal and Snape dying as well. You're like, well, you celebrate for a second, and then you're like, and then when you realize that he was on your side the entire time, it was like, like that grand reveal was phenomenal.
so I think it's one of the best scenes in cinematic history. I don't care what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
But you know, even before they done the whole reveal, like even when they killed him, I actually felt bad for him. Like I was like, oh shit, because this is a character we've had since the first film, and basically Voldemort just kills him for no reason, kind of just because he wanted to. He wants to, you know, gain the power.
He basically wanted the Elder Wand.
Yeah, he wanted
He
the
didn't
power of the
realize
Elder.
that Draco Malfoy, but like that's the difference between him and Harry. Harry would have just said Expelliarmus for it. Voldemort literally killed him. Like, he slashed his throat and let Nagini eat him.
Yeah, I just see, and then Harry finds him, and then he's like, "Take a tear from my eye," and then that whole, as you said, Hazza, they have that all-out war, and then after Voldemort like gives him time to breathe for some reason. I don't know. It's kind of stupid from a villain's point, but for the film, it made sense. And then he's whispering to Harry and everyone else like, "Oh, you lot are all gonna die, blah blah blah. And you just really mourn the loss. And Harry looks so dejected and so done with it. And then he goes, puts the tear in the thing, and then the whole reveal that just absolutely beautiful. You get basically Severus Snape he's been Harry's guardian the whole time. Like he's been that reveal. I think was it when Dumbledore was like, even after all this time, and he's like always, and he casts the spell to
The
protect
bow,
Harry.
isn't it? Yeah.
Oh mate, fucking epic! It's just so well done. Severus Snape, I think, is the best actor in the whole franchise. Alan Rickman, what a legend! He's passed away now, but he had such an iconic voice in it, such a distinct voice about him. The way he used to speak, get his words out, it was just so good. He has a proper villain's voice, which is funny, but then he gets revealed as like he's basically the hero the whole time. And I love the way they revealed as well how Dumbledore was dying anyway, basically. So he told Snape he doesn't want Draco to be the one to kill him, as a mercy to kill me and let them think that, oh, you're the bad one. And it just sort of shows how great of a character Snape is. He's just so selfless. He was willing to even be hated by everyone just for the sake of Hogwarts and the sake of Dumbledore and Harry Potter. Even you know, even though his mum chose James, which is Harry Potter's dad was a dickhead, by the way. Do you know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is. Can't help you, love. But yeah, Snape. For me, that whole reveal is one of the most beautiful and touching scenes in any film, any franchise. But yeah, what do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just put it first, and it is my favorite film in the whole franchise. It delivered what 10 years of build up. I don't think any other film had, this level of payoff, this level of emotional weight. It actually felt like a grand finale. Like Hazza touched on, the Battle of Hogwarts was epic. It was so good. I mean, I think it was the biggest, most cinematic moments in probably any of the films, you know. And again, we just talk about Alan Rickman's performance. It was, I think, the best performance in the whole film. Like, it reveals the true loyalty, it actually breaks your heart. It connects, all the pieces together, and it shows, the beauty of, him. And again, you be thinking to yourself, like, after all this time, like, this is what we've come to realize of Snape. So again, that was amazing. And again, Harry's sacrifice I thought was perfectly executed. This is where he becomes a true hero. Like he walks into the forest, silent, and you feel the emotionally devastated yourself. And again, I thought every character got its arc that he needed. They had like I think every character got his moment, which was beautiful. And again, Voldemort feels terrifying in this film. Like I think this is the film where he feels the most powerful, most unstable, most desperate. And again, the pacing of this film, unlike Part One, which was probably the worst paced film of the whole franchise, this was so good. It wasted zero time. So the action was done great. The music also, I thought the music of it was incredible. And again, I think it's the perfect balance of emotion and action. So yeah, I think it's by far my. I mean, I would say by far. There's been a lot of good films, but I have a rank one.
Yeah, even that scene when Harry supposedly dies, sacrifices himself when he sees that his parents and Dumbledore. It was such a beautiful
Yeah,
scene. And then let's talk about the ending. Wow, it gave me goosebumps. And it just shows them older. They're basically parents now, and their kids are going off to Hogwarts. I thought it was just the perfect ending as well. And then Harry's son is named. I think he's named after Dumbledore and Snape, Albus Severus Potter. It's just such a touching thing. I love the ending of the film as well. I just thought it was a perfect conclusion to the franchise.
yeah.
But yeah, let's order it then.
I mean, I think I already have, but let's see if it change anything.
Can't lie, Prisoner of Azkaban at 7. People are gonna flame us for that. Like, generally, that's our genuine opinion. Isn't it? I don't rate Azkaban as highly.
I think the top three are real good. I will
Yeah,
change any of that.
spot on. Top 3 are spot on, in my opinion, 100%. Philosopher's Stone, yeah, as Hazza said, it's the perfect introduction. So that's why it warrants such a high position.
The,
Yeah,
o-
definitely Hallows
the
Part
only
One.
ones on this list where I'd probably move or I mean, it's not that much of a difference, but probably Chamber of Secrets and Prison of Azkaban. But again, it's like just minor.
Yeah, I agree. To be honest with the ranking, what do you think, Hazza?
It's not far off what I would have personally speaking. So yeah, in terms of a collective, I can't really disagree, to be honest. Um, my personal ranking would have Goblet of Fire at the top, Half Blood Prince second, Philosopher's Stone third, and Deathly Hallows Part 4 as Part 2 at the 4. But nah, I can't really complain with this one, to be honest. I don't think there's really any justification. I think the bottom three are right, and the top five are pretty interchangeable.
Yeah.
For me personally.
Yeah, I'm happy with this list, to be honest. Yeah, I know Prisoner of Azkaban. For me, I'm glad we all agreed that it's overrated though. I thought I was gonna be the only one, but and I'm happy we agreed Order of the Phoenix is underrated as well. But yeah, for me, the
We're
top
not a bunch.
three.
We're not a bunch of yes. We're not a bunch of yes men, by the way. If you're still an hour watching into this, we're not a bunch of yes men. I think it just shows that we are better. We're better minded in terms of films than you are. So hold it.
Yeah.
Um,
But what's cool? What I was gonna say. For me, the top three are just so good in it. Like to be honest, you could either of the top three could be number one. That's how good they are. But for me, definitely Hallows Part 2 wins for me. Okay, that's the Harry Potter or films ranking done. Just want to ask you guys a question. Have any of you watched the prequel movies they made? Like, what's it called? Fantastic Beasts.
I haven't. No.
No.
I haven't, but apparently they're arse. But I
No.
need to watch them though. But yeah, let's talk about our favorite character then. Who is the best character in Harry Potter?
My favorite character is Snape.
Yeah, it has to. He has the best development. He's the best actor. Harry's good as well. He's a very, very good protagonist. Hagrid, everyone loves Hagrid. Voldemort is even a shout as well. He was such a good villain. But when you deep it though, Voldemort, he got his ass handed to him by a fucking kid throughout the course of 8 movies. But yeah, Hazza, who's your favorite character from the franchise?
I mean, there's so many to choose from, like Dudley Dursley. I'm joking. um, I mean, it's got to be Snape, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
it has to be Snape. Look at the way his upbringing is. Like he was neglected at childhood. He was bullied. Um, he was coerced by the Slytherin house when he could have quite easily been sort of like a Gryffindor and away from the sort of quote evil house unquote. Um, and his arc is kind of like what I love about Snape is that he's not perfect. He is human. He's
Yeah.
human to the core. Like with Harry, he's got this heroism. Dumbledore is this grand wizard. Voldemort's just a pure evil bastard. He's a dumb one, don't get me wrong, but he's just pure evil. Snape's arc is built kind of like on regret. Like, oh, I wish I was there sooner at Godric's Hollow to defend the Potters. He wants to redeem a past that he can't really go back to. He's got this love mixed with guilt, and his duty is driven by this sort of obsession to basically make things right. Like he's I think he's just brilliantly flawed in that respect as well.
And you know what's crazy about Snape as well? Do you remember when they were showing the whole reveal, the backstory? When they're talking about what should we do with the child, like when Harry's parents are dead. I think Dumbledore, like he's this like loved character, but he was kind of dismissive of Harry, wasn't he? And Snape was saying, "No, we have to protect him." I don't know if
Yeah,
you guys remember,
yeah,
which is
yeah, yeah.
which is funny to think about, innit? Because we were all thinking, "Oh, Snape hates Harry," but he just had his back the whole time. It was just that tough love sort of thing.
I think he actually hated Harry, but just loved Lily Potter more, and obviously that
Maybe.
I think that comes to the case. And do you know why? And this is why I like Snape even more. I think Harry had this sort of arrogance that made Snape remind him that he was more like
Oh, yeah.
James and not
Oh,
like Lily. Um, and that's where Snape was like, "Well, I'm not doing this for Harry. I'm doing this for the memory of Lily."
which is
But
almost to
obviously, he
me.
cares.
Yeah, to me, that's even more impressive then, because regardless of his feelings towards Harry, he's still done his duty to protect him for the love of his life. Which is kind of sad as well when you think about it. But I think Snape did like Harry because when he's dying, you see Snape. He's like he even said I think he even says to Harry, "You have your mother's eyes" or something like that.
And
I
we
don't
never
know.
really hear that. We never really hear that phrase for a long time. Oh, you
Yeah,
have your mother's eyes. And I think it was kind of like such a sweet and touching moment because in the entire series, everyone's like, "Oh goodness me, Merlin's beard, you're Harry Potter." Like you never really get to hear too much of that in the later stages, except for when Slughorn says that in in Half Blood Prince. But then when Snape says, "Oh, you have your mother's eyes," that's something that really got said because of the fact that Harry that's been going to war, etc. And I just think it just shows that Snape is a brilliantly flawed human being. That's why I love him so much. That's
yeah.
why I think he's the best character in the
I
film.
feel like when he was dying, that he was finally able to let his guard down, and because he's putting on the act, I think the whole time with Harry, like he hates him and blah blah blah. But in a way, he was kind of doing that thing to protect him as well.
Yeah,
And
imagine if he let his guard down. If he lets his guard down, it makes everything so much different. And I think that just makes it like I just think Harry's just sorry, not Harry. Snape is an unbelievable character. He's not perfect, and that's what makes him
yeah,
brilliant.
I think Alan Rickman, yeah, hands down, what an actor. I can't imagine anyone else as Snape. I mean, we'll get on to the TV show. We'll talk about the TV show briefly in a bit, but what was our favorite moment? I think we're all going to agree, and we've basically talked about it already. It's
Yeah.
the Snape. It's the Snape reveal, hands down, 100%. It's one of the best scenes I've ever seen. I think most people will agree with us, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. I've got a couple moments in there that I want to add in. First of all, Neville killing Nagini.
Oh yeah, that was
That
sick.
was that was a sick moment. That was like, you know what it is? That's one of them where you're like, yo, what? Like it's one of
That you
those.
know what?
That's a moment in isolation. The thing is with Snape's reveal, it wasn't like a moment. It's kind of I think it's just drawn out slightly. But when Neville killed Nagini and saved Ron and Hermione, and you just hear him screaming with the sword in his hand, and he's got blood dripping down the side of his head, and he's wearing this awkwardly knitted sweater that I know his grandma's knitted him, and he's just gone right through Nagini. That's a moment like that's what Triple H would call a viral moment.
Nah, but Neville's speech in general though is a very moving moment in the whole thing. I rate it highly. When he's like, "You're rotten," and he's like, "Harry lives in all of us," and then Harry comes back to life. It was just so good. I don't know. Have you guys seen the deleted scenes though from the final film?
Nah.
There's 2 deleted scenes here that they should have kept in the film. I had no idea why they didn't. I think one of them is that for the first time ever, Dudley's actually nice to Harry. I think when Dudley and his parents are going away, Dudley's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for everything." Basically, he's like, "Look after yourself, Harry." And it's a sweet scene. I don't know why they cut it. It was actually 2 minutes. I
Yeah,
don't know why they cut it. And there's another scene as well. You know, at the end when Neville gives that speech and then it's revealed Harry's alive. Originally, I think Draco was gonna actually pass the wand to Harry. I thought that would have been perfect. I don't know why they cut it out, but I think that would have wrapped up their whole arc brilliantly as well. Draco and Harry from enemies to like working together to defeat a greater evil. Could have given a bit of redemption as well to Draco as well, because throughout the whole through the Malfoys are basically these just weasels in it, just doing what Voldemort's dirty work. I don't know why they cut that out. I think that could have been beautiful for both Harry and Draco's characters. But it's minor nitpicks and it
Yeah.
doesn't take away from the franchise for me. But yeah. So then, what is the overall legacy then of Harry Potter, guys? What do you think?
I mean, one of the best legacies, I think, in franchise history.
It's going to be timeless, isn't it? 100%
Yeah.
timeless.
it is time.
It is. I don't think it will ever lose its appeal, even to future, like even generations now. They can go back. There's some films that you can go back and watch and will never lose their charm. Like Back to the Future, etc. Star Wars. Harry Potter fits into that category. I think. I mean, they've announced they are making a TV series. Let's talk about that then. What do you think about it? Do you think it's a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Yeah. What are your expectations for the TV show?
I think because HBO are running it, I think I can see it being. Um, I think I can see him staying quite true to the books. The good thing about it is that there's so much written that they can
Yeah.
extract everything from it, and Carpe. I don't know about you, Danny, but me and well, like I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, and I'm on a rewatch of it currently, and you can tell the writing quality difference from when they'd written the books in terms of the dialogue and the characters they incorporate from I
Yeah.
think seasons 1 to 4, and then maybe even 5, comparatively to after, where it felt more like a Hollywood TV show grab rather than a fixation on the books. I think what HBO would do quite well. As they always have done, I think, in fairness to them, is stick to a vision, and they'll run with it. If Harry Potter will have this sort of like direction within retaining the good parts of the books, and what I think they'll do really well is deliver a really well told story based on the books rather than keeping it from the films. And I think that's the most important distinction between the OG and the new.
You know what it is though? We say HBO, yeah. If this was 10 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, man, this is gonna be a banker, this is gonna be amazing. But in 2025, HBO has fallen off a cliff. Like some of the shows they're producing now, it's a sad sight to see. But as you said, Hazza, they've got all the material there for them, so they can't fuck this up, surely. And I think maybe, arguably, Harry Potter might work better as a TV show on paper because there's just so much story to be told that you can't really tell in a series of films because films are a bit limited to like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. The TV show, I don't know how many episodes they're going to do, but they'll have like, I don't know, at least 6 to 8 hours to tell each book, which is going to help the story massively. I think the main thing, I think it's gonna make ridiculous money regardless. Do you know what I mean? Just the name of Harry Potter, people are gonna be watching, tuning in. A lot of pressure on these young kids though. It's gonna be a lot of pressure. I feel a bit bad for them, but
Have they gave a release date for it?
I think they're in production right now. They're like filming
Oh,
it. I
okay.
don't know what year, but one thing I want to say though, HBO, can you do this properly, please? Like, do not do this whole book. I don't know, you guys. Are you guys watching House of the Dragon? Like, the first
Yeah,
season was great. I really enjoyed it. It was 10 episodes, and then season 2, because of budgeting, they cut it down to 8 episodes, and you really felt how bad it was. It wasn't. It was bad. I'm not gonna lie. And they're doing the same now with season 3. They're cutting it down to 8 episodes. So if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna spend the money, like do it properly. Do you know what I mean? Don't do like cutting and cutting down episodes, because if you do that bullshit, it's just gonna ruin the quality of a show, and you're gonna set it up to fail before it's even taken off. And another thing, this is for TV shows in general. Do not give us a season 1 year and then make us wait fucking 2 or 3 years for the next season. I hate how modern day TV works. You have to wait 2-3 years for the next season. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. I miss the days where you just basically every year you got a season of television. They have no excuses. I don't care the amount of money they have and resources. Don't know why it's harder to film it year by year now than it is back when compared to back then. But yeah, I know most people are writing the show. They're writing it off before it's even had a chance, which I don't believe in. I feel like I want to watch it and then I'll make my judgment. People are complaining about Snape. I think Snape's black, which for me, I get it. Okay, in the books he's not black, blah blah blah. But for me, in the wizarding world, yeah, it's a story of magic and stuff. How it's not really unbelievable to hate Snape a black person, as long as the actor's good and does a good job. I don't really care. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, like you said, copy. I'm looking forward to it. I just hope they don't do this thing they did with House of Dragon. Like, if I think it will be multiple seasons. Like in the second or third season, don't cut it down. There's a song gonna work like that. But I mean, I got high hopes for it. I mean, of course we'll watch it. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Just hope they do this the right way. Which, like you said, with HBO in the last 2-3 years, they failed at that. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, for HBO's, basically all they've got now is the Game of Thrones universe. They've announced they're making so many spin-offs, which I'll tune in regardless of how bad or good they are. And Harry Potter, this has the potential to put them back as the top dog in TV, because I think Apple TV have kind of snatched their chain. But yeah, HBO, they can't fuck this up, surely. Like, if you're gonna give seasons, basically each book will be a season, I reckon. So how many books are they? Like 7
Yeah,
books, right?
7
Yeah,
books.
so we should be getting 7 to 8 unless they want to stretch it out and be shameless. But yeah, all the materials there. I'm expecting a tightly written show. stretched out. All the stories are going to be covered. If this fails, I'll be gutted. I generally would. But yeah, that's pretty much all we wanted to cover on this show. Any final thoughts, lads?
No.
What a franchise.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
so good.
I mean, yeah, we mentioned Game of Thrones. That's definitely, well, it's too much to talk about for just one video. We could probably do multiple videos on Game of Thrones down the line. But it's been a good one, man. Yeah, Harry Potter, what a franchise. Yeah, if you guys have actually made it to the end of this episode, comment your thoughts. Have we got the ranking right, or are we idiots? And yeah, man, that's been Mission Podcast, the Harry Potter ranking. See you guys for the next one.